OncoScreen and OncoDir are two ongoing research and innovation projects under the umbrella of Cancer Mission of Europe. Starting by OncoScreen, I would say that the project has the overall aim of enhancing colorectal cancer screening and early detection. It combines several diagnostic techniques and digital tools, while the emphasis is placed on providing non-invasive, cost-effective, and easy-to-use solutions. It is a consortium, a large consortium of 38 partners coming from 16 countries, coordinated by the company Exos AI Labs, and our team is a technical coordinator of the project, and we also contribute to the development of AI-enabled digital tools. So there is a set of technologies at multiple levels undergoing development in this project, which altogether will constitute, at the end of our project, hopefully an integrated, federated platform. This includes diagnostic devices and techniques, training modules, and decision support tools powered by AI. There is a mobile application for data collection directly from the patient, while in reverse, it will also provide personalized counseling and personalized information to the patient, and also an online data catalog, which will ensure the findability and possible future reusability of the data sets that we are generate within the project. The project has planned a clinical study of 2 phases with an estimated total number of participants larger than 4,000. The first phase will essentially provide the necessary data for the adaptation and the refinement, let's say, of the technologies, as well as the first estimations of their performance, while in the second phase, the diagnostic performance of our tools and methods will be evaluated in the context of active screening for colorectal cancer and compared with standard practice. We are actually now in the 16th month of the project, so we are very close to initiating the first stage of our clinical study. So what is very interesting is that the role of patients in OncoScreen is truly multifaceted. Firstly, we have 3 patient representative organizations as partners within the consortium. They are in fact leading the iterative process we are using for defining the end user requirements for the solutions. And this is critical because it is the basis of all subsequent development activities. They are also in charge of the public awareness campaigns of the project and of course support our outreach to patients. This is also important in terms of recruitment, but also for ensuring that the patient perspective is truly taken into account. Patients also contribute actively in the production of training material within our project and the evaluation of the proposed solutions. So up to now, we have performed a large number of meetings that have brought together end users, including patient representatives and other stakeholders, as well as technology providers. We have co-organized with patient representatives 2 laboratory integration tests, and within March we have also concluded our first awareness campaign in social media. And another interesting aspect related to the involvement of stakeholders, I think it is the fact that European research projects projects now try to embrace open innovation methods and encourage this multidisciplinary collaboration and co-design. As an example, during the last month, we launched the first of a series of what we call virtual hackathons. And the first one of this series was under the theme Improving Patient Experience. So we invited interested parties to submit practical innovation ideas, responding to three main challenges you can see there, unfortunately in Greek. The lack of communication and information flow between healthcare providers and patients, the lack of personalized patient education. We would like to empower patients with a better understanding of their treatment journey, and also the lack, perhaps a limited awareness of the importance of early detection. These living labs are organized by the Lithuanian University of Health Sciences, which is an IT health hub, so it has a lot of experience in fostering innovation, and the winners among the parties who will submit ideas to our hackathon will gain mentorship and practical support to develop their ideas further. Now moving on to the Oncodir project, the focus now is on colorectal cancer primary prevention. The consortium consists of 27 partners. I should stress that out of those, 16 represent end users. The project is coordinated by CERT, and our group is again the technical coordinator. So the main goal in the case of this project is to develop evidence-based and cost-effective primary prevention programs. And for this purpose, we are integrating methods from health policy analytics, social and behavioral sciences, AI-enabled data integration and analysis, health economics, and again, of course, multidisciplinary collaboration and co-design are key. But I should mention that apart from the digital technologies, which we are developing to enable intervention co-design, we are placing particular importance also on the investigation of the factors that influence the adoption and adherence to prevention programs by the end users. And this includes patients, healthcare providers, and policymakers as well. The project has also initiated a policy mapping study to record and analyze existing primary prevention programs throughout Europe and identify relevant policy gaps. And also 3 laboratory integration tests and 3 large-scale pilots will take place in the future in 5 countries to evaluate the solutions, assess their feasibility and their actual impact under close to real-world conditions. And again, within Oncodir, the role of patients is pronounced. As you can see, numerous activities are foreseen that bring together all stakeholders. We count on the inclusion of patient perspectives towards the development of solutions that will be indeed adopted and adhered to. And at this stage of the project, we have completed the first round of end-user requirements definition, and we are preparing for the first laboratory integration test, which will assess at this stage the technical aspects of the system under development. So this basically concluded my presentation. I have just placed here a couple of slides in case someone of you would like later to find more details about our activities, or maybe contact us.
Thank you very much, Dήμητρα.
Thank you.
I think that we have crossed our time limits. I'm not really sure, let's say, if we have time, but a short discussion. Okay. Well, I think that we have a repeated motif here. The challenge of including patients and hospitals, which are currently under pressure. They are always under pressure, but I think that this has been identified as a key issue the last 5 years or the last 4 years after COVID. So I would like to ask the opinion of Stella. First of all, Stella comes from the Regional Health Authority, so she has another. She's not directly a researcher, so she has another point of view of how difficult it would be to engage in terms of administrative and managerial aspects. So, Stella.
I'm going to refer to earlier joint actions back in 2015, where everybody was asking why a regional health authority that is a public sector that is responsible for health policy issues, why to get involved in such actions. So you have to answer that the experience from academia, the research, the experience in educational field, in research field, or other issues, could be applied to the public sector, to the hospitals, actually to give advantage to the patients through the public sector, only if the personnel, the officers, the managers from the public sector, the directors, the Ministry of Health actually has a plan, has a dream, that is that the innovation should serve the patients. It's very difficult. You have to spend many hours. You have to spend many hours to convince the healthcare professionals and your colleagues actually that it is worthwhile to work in these actions, in these projects, in this even in a research field, and it takes time to convince the academia to be patient with the public sector that actually has the patient in front of him. So you have to find the right person in the right position, beginning from the administrative staff, from managers, doctors, clinics, patients. And I'm actually going to refer to what Dr. Sigelakis said a few days ago, that during the pilots, in all the countries, in the 10 countries that participate in our joint action, you have to convince the patients and everybody that is working that, okay, we test the tools, we test the telemedicine tools, just to give a small piece, a very small input to the improvement of the quality of care, in order for the next years and next decades to see the difference in the next generation maybe. So you have to be very strong and to have a leader. I could say in our lessons we say a digital leader, to follow the digital leadership actions in order to transform the area. It's very difficult, and you have to believe in this, the transformation according to digital leadership issues. And when back in 2015 we had our first joint action, I could not imagine that today, in this joint action that actually has the patient association, not only from Greece, from Cyprus and other countries, we could actually be able to offer something to the patients. Our first joint actions were theoretical requirements, literature reviews, papers, documents, but now it seems that it is very ambitious that we have actually to offer something to the patients.
Thank you. I hope you don't mind me asking a more technical question. This is a panel of engineers. So I would ask Christos, since he works a lot with machine learning, I know there is a little debate about how explainable AI should be and how easy it would be to have it explainable or not, or how useful it would be to have it explainable or not. I have seen doctors and patients asking it to be explainable in order to be able to use it and to be able to trust it. But I have also seen doctors saying that I don't know how drugs work. If this thing works, I'm fine with it. Don't get me started on trying to understand statistics or whatever. I'm a doctor, I don't know how paracetamol works, but I give it for 40 years now, so it's okay with me. Christos, what's your experience on that?
Thank you, panelists, for that question. Indeed, explainability is a big issue during the last years, and unfortunately, our shift to deep learning models deviates us from explainability in principle, because deep learning models like convolutional neural networks could be regarded as black boxes. On the other hand, the most traditional machine learning tools, like for example decision trees, are explainable inherently. So I think that a fusion, for example, of a deep learning model, but then taking the expert opinions and trying to decipher the output of the model, why it works, why it produces that output, and if it is replicable, and putting a simple decision tree at the end of the deep learning model as an additional layer may be a good solution. I don't know if it is the most sophisticated, the most elaborated, but it seems to work. On the other hand, and in order to bridge your question and what Stella described as challenges, I think that explainable models would be greatly benefit by a harmonization of several data acquisition strategies of small pilots, and there is need to shift from small studies to a harmonized big studies. And of course, Stella, you described about the digital leadership, but maybe what about a federated learning approach? So yes, the data are in the XY hospital, but the model architecture, the network architecture would be fused among the different hospitals, the different countries, cultural settings, and having participants and end users' opinions, we may reach explainability, which is far away from being reached now, and it remains a very challenging and open issue.
I have to say that sometimes I have been in meetings where patients were saying that, please do share our data. We need you to share our data in order to have some progress on our disease. We don't care about our privacy as long as it would bring benefit to our healthcare. So there are a lot of issues when trying to applying other federated or whatever you say, machine learning models or whatever data processing technique. I was impressed to see, Dήμητρα, that you are planning to have a clinical study with 4,000 participants. I have the experience of organizing 2 clinical studies among 5 European countries, and as an engineer, it was a nightmare for me. It was a nightmare for our team. I would truly like to hear what you have to say based on your experience on that.
Yes, I will definitely underline that there are a lot of difficulties. This was true also in actually all the previous research projects that included clinical studies. There are a lot of issues involved, legal, ethical, technical, but we are trying. I believe this is the most important thing, and also there are several initiatives at the European level nowadays that I believe will improve the situation in the future by putting emphasis on the creation of European data spaces, the standards for interoperability and for connecting all this wealth of information that is now not available for further research. Yeah, I think I am optimistic on this. Maybe we are moving slowly, but we are moving.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask from the audience if somebody has to comment on how, in your opinion, I mean, you have perhaps a better perspective in terms of patients. So how do you think that AI should be validated? I mean, would a patient care for explainability? Would a patient care to validate an AI algorithm? Would it make sense? I can see Lars raising his hand.
You gave me an opportunity to say something, so but to reflect, I've been a blood donor for 30 years. And if I knew that people would be selling my blood to the black market, I would be offended. I would be even more offended if I found out that for 30 years they'd just been stashing the blood in a freezer and never really used it for anything. So my assumption when I share my blood, my data, is that somebody uses it for something.
For good.
For good. Yes,
not for making money.
No. But at least that it's used. It is used. And now, of course, I do not expect health systems across Europe to sell my data to the black market or anyone else. But I assume that it's used. All patients assume that when they answer all those stupid questions again and again and again, and they donate their blood, and they do blah, 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 somebody uses it for something. They would be deeply offended if they knew how little we do that.
I fully agree, and I think we don't have the right to stay here.
And then to add to your other question, I don't know how my car works, truly. I mean, I have some very rudimentary ideas about it, but I really like it still. So sometimes in human life, I don't need to know all the details about it, of course, the greater mechanics, but I trust that there are systems out there that validate them, and I trust the systems. I trust the EMA to do the drugs for me. So it's about having good systems that can do that for me as well.
Lars, you are demolishing the entire agenda of artificial intelligence in the last years, but I really like it.
Yeah. Not to mention demolishing the innovation idea about companies making money out of our data, which I really like. I think that this is also a key issue here. We don't have business models which are compatible with this principle. Currently, there are many startups which think that they could make money out of our data. There are good engineers who build nice machine learning algorithms with high success rates, and they expect to get data for free, do it whatever they want, without having an idea about the challenge, about the ethical challenges. So there is also a big gap here. If we want things to stay alive, we need to find sustainable financial models.
I'd like to make a question about AI. What are ways that AI can be useful in the future for e-health applications? Can you give us a few ideas so we can
yes,
is it useful for doctors, for early prevention, or is it useful for...
In principle, it could be useful for everybody. Okay, so I will give an example. Let's suppose that we want the patient to have a mobile app to report his condition. We very frequently refer to these approaches as patient-reported outcome approaches. So we ask for a patient to report his potential adverse drug reactions. But if you are a cancer patient, you might have 1,000 of potential adverse drug reactions. It would not be a good idea to ask a patient to answer 1,000 questions every day or every week. So I could use artificial intelligence to adapt the questions to be asked in the patient's profile. How? Using his own data, using his own medical history, and adjust the questions to 5, the most relevant ones for him personally. This would make his life easier, okay? And this would also increase my data flow, and it would support the doctor's decision-making process. If I ask him 1,000 questions, obviously he will drop out from using the mobile app. Nobody would do it. Okay? So this is an example that we have actually implemented in one of our projects. Okay, but I'm pretty sure that the rest of the team could provide other examples too, if we have the time. I don't know. Please.
Regarding your previous question on whether patients would be willing to help with testing algorithms and providing feedback, if I got it right, from my personal experience as a cancer patient, I would say that it depends on largely on the stage that the patient is at. If the patient is under therapy, I mean, that would be it could be the last thing that would be their priority, unless that thing that you're asking them to provide feedback for would give them some help in managing mainly the side effects of treatment. So maybe such an app, yes, it could be validated by patients during their therapy, because that's lacking a lot, if not 100%, at least from the oncology clinics in Greece. So patients are left helpless with no psychoeducation regarding the side effects of treatment. Apart from that, if they are on the survivorship stage, though, I have met way too many people who are willing not only to provide feedback, but also to help in whatever means possible, so that other people who will be found in their place when they were under treatment can have a better experience from them. And believe me, cancer survivors are very willing to help.
Thank you. That's very nice to hear. I would keep as a takeaway lesson that we need to adjust our approaches to the specific patient profiles.
Just to mention that in our clinical trials in Hospital Papageorgiou, exactly what you described is the case. It's difficult to convince cancer that is under treatment, and it has special situation. But of course, for a cancer survivor is much more easier and willing, and of course, it needs very psychological support and education for the healthcare professionals to provide all the support in the stages.
This is absolutely necessary. I mean, it's less than enough to ask the oncologist, so what will be the side effects? And the oncologist's answer being, okay, so your hair might fall, and some other things, but okay, you'll see that. Thank you. I mean, if I didn't have the skills due to my scientific practice, I would know nothing about the side effects.
And let's not forget, because we are talking about artificial intelligence, its role, who is benefited from that. Artificial intelligence is like a tool. As Pantelis said, during the next 20 years, there would be a valuable tool for practicing medicine. But as a tool, it should be considered and used according to some ethics value. So there is a large debate about ethical AI. It should be considered as a validated tool. So every time that I put the Y parameters, the result should be replicable, if not the same, and it should be explainable and inclusive all the patients, because you know that if I train my model to specific patients, the AI will learn about those patients, and then it would be biased to that patients and would probably neglect some minority clusters.
Or even worse, misguide the healthcare professionals. So AI validation is a crucial issue. It is heavily discussed. It has many implications, not only with patients, but also technical implications, because AI models, machine learning models, to be more specific, because AI is not only machine learning, but machine learning models get better in principle as they get more data. But what about if I check the safety of a model today, if I validate the model today, and as the model gets retrained every day or every 6 months, the model gets worse? Who is validating that? Dήμητρα, would you have something to comment on that? I know, for example, that in drug safety, which is my special domain of research interest, there is pharmacovigilance. When a drug gets certified for being okay, for being safe, it gets out on the market, but it does not, it's still monitored. Then a big monitoring process starts. But this monitoring process was enforced by law after big tragedies. There are many thousands of people who died because the monitoring of the drugs was not right. We need to prevent this from happening with AI, because this risk is there. But the big question is how we could do AI vigilance. Dήμητρα?
So this is a really interesting comment. To be honest, I haven't until now formulated in the way you put it. It is very interesting. I believe that within the framework of all these initiatives about formalizing the AI best practices, guidelines for trustworthy AI, and all these initiatives in the context of which there is a very intense activity at the European level specifically, and gradually at the national level, this should be definitely taken into account.
Please don't get me wrong. Things are not solved, not in the United States either. Okay, so I can say that this is a public debate also in the United States, how national AI validation infrastructure should be set up. So there is a long way to go before even suggesting that AI could be used in real world settings for patients. It's too risky for now, if you ask me at least. I think we can conclude the session. Thank you very much, everybody, for the very nice discussion.
Thank you.